All right, this story first on CNN. The Patriot missile defense system could soon be on its way from the U.S. to Ukraine. The U.S. is working out plans ahead of final approval from the Secretary of Defense. This news comes along with photo evidence of Ukraine's latest defense effort against Russian missiles. Officials say they have downed 13 drones out of 2 waves of attacks on the capital, Kyiv. This part of really just a worsening Russian air and missile war over Ukraine.
Yeah, and also really a reminder of why Ukraine has been asking for those Patriot missiles for months. CNN Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr joining us now. So Barbara, what's different this time?
Well, I think it's what you guys are talking about right there. The Russian missile war. In recent weeks, months, Russia intensifying its bombardment of Ukraine population centers, energy facilities, infrastructure. The U.S. had not really been anxious to give such an advanced system to Ukraine, but now, seeing what is happening, they are stepping in. All indications are the Pentagon finalizing the plan, sending it over to the White House to get President Biden's final signature on it. What would happen then is the Patriot would be shipped to Ukraine, but it's maybe not so easy, because first you have to train any number of Ukraine troops to work on the system, how to operate it, maintain it, spare parts, logistics, repairs, all of that. It is a complex system, but the advantage it brings to the battlefield for Ukraine would be significant. This is a system where its radar essentially locks on to an enemy missile, in this case a Russian missile, and then engages it. And the Patriot missiles fire off and, if successful, bring down the Russian missile at altitude and distance far from their targets in Ukraine. So it begins to provide that air defense shield, along with other systems already on the battlefield, already on the front line, to provide that shield against these incoming Russian missiles. Final signature still awaited, but the indications are the Biden administration is in fact moving towards doing this.
Another great story from the great Barbara Starr at the Pentagon. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Joining me now to discuss, CNN military analyst Colonel Cedric Leighton. Colonel, good to have you on this morning.
Good to be with you, Jim.
So first of all, I wonder if you could compare the Patriot missile system to the air defense systems that Ukraine is already relying on, particularly old Soviet-made ones, but ones that have been supplied to them by NATO partners in recent months. Is this a major upgrade in terms of technology?
Yes, it is. Well, one of the things, Jim, is that it uses what's called a phased array radar. So what that means is the Patriot system can actually hone in on a target using multiple beams without changing the antenna configuration. They don't have to move the antennas. They don't have to do anything like that. A lot of the systems that the Ukrainians have right now, whether they're the old Soviet era system or newer systems from NATO countries, they are basically designed, in some cases at least, to be less reliant on technology and more physically reliant. So what that would mean is that those systems would require the physical movement of antennas so that they can then determine where the missiles are. So it's a much more complex undertaking that the Ukrainians have right now. The Patriot system will overcome that if it's deployed to Ukraine.
Yeah. A lot of countries depend on it. Countries in the Middle East, for instance, U.S. partners as a defense against Iranian missiles. I wonder, this is a massive and expanding Russian air and missile assault on Ukraine, and particularly the targets in recent weeks have been on infrastructure that impact the lives of civilians. That's deliberate here. How many of these systems, given that this is the largest country in Europe, does Ukraine need to make a dent in Russia's air war?
That's a really interesting question. Generally, what you want to do, Jim, is if you deploy the Patriot system, you want to deploy it to the areas that you want to defend most. So it would be logical for the Ukrainians to deploy it around Kyiv, for example, and around cities like Dnipro and perhaps the newly liberated Kherson, certainly around Kharkiv, any of the areas where they want to protect their infrastructure, which, generally speaking, mean the entire country in the ideal way. A lot of people compare the Patriot system to the Iron Dome system that the Israelis have. The Iron Dome is based in on Patriot technology, but Israel has a much less of a surface area to worry about than Ukraine does. Ukraine's about the size of Texas, and it's really impossible to defend the whole country. So you want to pick the targets that you want to protect. You want to make sure that you protect air bases, that you protect government installations and population centers. So that would be where they would deploy that. How many? You're probably looking at somewhere between, if I were doing this, around 5 to 10 batteries of that type. But that would be a pretty big order, and that would be, somewhere around a $10 billion commitment if we went, maximum with the Patriot deployment of that sort.
As you know better than me, war is about adjustments. Each side adjusts to the other side as they change tactics and weapons and so on. And one adjustment Russia has made is to bring in these Iranian-made and supplied drones. And they've had devastating effect on civilian targets and infrastructure in Ukraine. Would the Patriot missile system be effective against those drones?
Yes, generally speaking, it would. Of course, it depends on the specific type of Patriot system that would. There are different models, but the system is capable of downing drones. It has been used by the Israelis to down Hamas-based drones. It has been used in other conflicts, like the conflict with the Houthis in Yemen, between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis. So it can be used for that purpose. And of course, the Houthis have used Iranian drones as well. So there is some operational significance here and some operational history with these types of weapons, and it can be used in that way.
Cedric Leighton, thanks so much for breaking it down.
You bet, Jim. Anytime.